Welcome, folks. I am Jaby Koay, joined by ACHARA KIRK.
What's up?
And we are watching Hawkeye. This is episode 1 of season 1. Very, very excited. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, you're going to see a cut-down version of our reaction because we're only allowed to show you a limited amount of picture-in-picture. If you want to watch the whole thing along with us, uncut, uninterrupted, head over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/JabyKoay, and you can watch the entire show with us, but you will need your own Disney Plus subscription so you can open up the show in an adjacent window to our reaction. And it's like you're watching it with your two favorite pals from the internet. If you guys haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, bell icon, all notifications, and vote this up to let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. All right, here we go.
The comforting sound of the Marvel TV show music. Is it gonna change into purple? No.
Not yet. 2012? And we thought the world was ending.
I never know what the dates are properly.
We have to sell the penthouse.
No, we don't. That's...
What, an actual solution? You've got a daughter to think of.
I've got it under control.
Oh no. They heard everything.
Do you wanna?
Who are we kidding? You go.
Is that her natural hair?
I don't normally see her with hair that dark.
Is that a stupid question to ask? I'm sorry.
I don't want to move.
We don't have to.
Mommy said things don't just fall from the sky.
Well, yeah, but there's always going to be weather. Some people forget the one thing they can control. The choices they make in the face of it.
Oh gosh. Do her parents die?
Her mom doesn't.
Why don't you go have some lunch with your mom? Think fast. I'll be downstairs in my office.
Abuse!
Stop that.
Throwing objects at your daughter!
It's a soft object.
Could have taken her head off.
Mommies can be pretty fun too, you know. I bet she didn't know I could do this.
That's pretty cool.
Why don't you go grab the checkers? We can liven things up. Okay, I'm gonna go downstairs. I'll be right back.
Okay.
You're just waiting for the tragedy to happen.
Well, it's just it's the dynamic between them just felt a little bit put on, that's all.
The Avengers in New York, right? Yeah.
Where is her mom?
She was in the kitchen.
This is dope.
This is terrifying.
This is so dope, though. That's all outside.
Yeah.
Like, we're so familiar with this.
With what's happening outside. It's like really strange and disconcerting to see it from someone who's on the other side.
On
I've
the
got
ground
goosebumps.
floor. Yeah.
It's just like, ugh. I mean, I would go back inside. Oh.
And that's how it starts. Hawkeye
Oh my
saved me.
God.
Turn. Come on, turn.
Why do I feel like crying?
Where were you? Where were you?
Oh my God. Where is Dad?
That really undermines the whole rooting for Loki thing. That's all his fault, right?
Right.
I need to protect us.
That's my job. Whatever you need, I'm here for you.
I need a bow and arrow.
Can you imagine you're the mom and like, you know, there's this huge tragedy and then your little girl is like, I want a bow and arrow.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I need now.
I kind of just chalk it up to it being a comic book thing. None of that would happen. None of that dialogue would be spoken. They'd be so distraught, right?
Right, yeah. You know what I mean? But I get it though.
But it's a comic book thing, so I'm like, these things have to move along in the story.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of following that classic comic book thing where it's tragedy, a parent or a parent figure dies, and then off we go on this adventure, you know?
Hey.
Well, that was a bit of a letdown.
What was supposed to happen?
I thought that's what was supposed to happen.
Yeah, me too. Or does she want like a dramatic, like bong, 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 bong? There we go. Told you it was a dangly thing.
It's in there now, though.
Yeah.
That's not great, but it could be worse.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's bad. Oh, shit.
How would that guy know to go there?
Whoopsie.
A Merry Christmas. And,
Rogers, the musical.
Now that's a musical I would watch. In fact, I'd watch most musicals, to be fair.
The kid looks bored. Oh, nice.
Oh my god.
That's not how I remember it.
I could do this all day. I love it. His daughter's face. Oh, she's not here anymore.
The person playing her can move, though.
Yeah.
Goodness. Oh, nothing. Just a little PTSD.
Yeah.
Oh, this is guaranteed to be a real thing soon. Like, $10 says the internet's going to ask for this musical.
At the very least, we'll get this song as a single.
Thanos was right.
Oh.
Wow.
Whoa.
Well, if you saw Eternals, you might feel that way.
Let's go.
All right.
And let's show Mom what she's missing.
Yeah.
Come on, bud.
Yeah, why is Mom not there? I was worried that Clint and his wife had broken up, and I was like, no, they're the most wholesome couple.
Hey,
You can't do this to me, Marvel.
shit's tough.
I know.
There you are.
Wow, that's an outfit.
You're amazing. I still remember when you got your black belt at 15.
God.
What?
Some of the dialogue sometimes with her is just a little, like, clunky. I still remember when you got your black belt at 15 years old. Exposition. It's just a little strange, you know?
Jack. Who are you?
It's Jack.
Nice to see you again, Katie.
It's Kate.
That was in your mouth.
Say hi.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mama.
How was the show?
It's over. It was big.
We left halfway through.
There you go. There you have it. All together.
No.
Okay.
No, not holding their hand.
Hold your brother's hands. It's going to be the best Martin Christmas ever. All right? Yeah.
Dina, it's on us. You saved our city.
Thank you.
Wow.
I don't know. I like free food.
I know. You'd be like,
I'll save the city
everybody get
again.
my free food.
I'll save it twice. Where's dessert?
You're the little bishop girl.
Yes, I am.
I'm on Duquesne. I'd appreciate it if you wear something a little more ladylike for the wedding.
What wedding?
Ellen and Jack.
Seems like you won the jackpot.
I'm not so sure.
Why would he be saying that?
I'm going to make my excuses because it seems that you need to have a chat with your prize of a mother.
Why would he say that stuff to her?
That was just a very weird, awkward conversation.
Yeah, it's like, you're talking about her mom to her face. Why would you say those mean things about her?
Because he's snooty, I guess?
Her.
Highfalutin.
You're engaged?
Oh, well, I guess the beans are out of the bag.
Oh, I'm sorry you found out this way. I'm gonna go get some air, Mom. And come back and find me, okay? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The one-eyed doggo.
She does look like she's dressed to work there.
I know. I have dressed like that on many an occasion.
Oh, for work?
Yeah, I was not a guest.
I thought you were like, I have been mistaken for the,
The help. No, I actually was, yeah.
I gave you an opportunity.
Eavesdropping again.
Armand. Mom, what was that about? Is that guy threatening you? I honestly have no idea. Come back to the party. Okay. All right. Okay.
Well, we know what you're gonna do.
She,
If I was her mom, I would have like
she should
grabbed her hand and been like, "Come
make
with
an
me."
excuse. I gotta go take a shit. Like, say something.
Oh, how convenient.
Yes, very. Who smiles at their boss? Nobody. They just like
Yeah, you
going.
do. You do.
I don't. I'm just trying to keep a move on a neck and not get in trouble.
Oh, what's this like? Some Cloak and Dagger secret society auction. It's an auction. I don't know. Shut up.
Oh, you might be right.
Look at all that wine. I bet that's all very expensive.
It's called Skull and Bones.
Yeah.
Masons.
Cloak and Dagger.
Shadow organization.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh, there he is.
we'll start the bidding for this magnificent skull at $2 million.
They're literally bidding on a skull.
Yes.
You see, that's the problem, Gary. I quit. You can't quit. Hold on.
Excuse me.
Is he really going to look through the cellar for her? Like, hardcore?
Artifact recovered from the wreckage of the Avengers compound. The Ronin decimated the criminal.
Oh, shit.
Almost completely annihilating the status and power of the head of organized crime. The Ronin brought a brutal form of justice to his victims.
How's she going to get it?
300 looking for 350.
What are you doing, you dope?
I'm buying that sword.
Pay attention.
We didn't see the skull, did we?
Not properly. I mean, it kind of looked like a Triceratops skull to me, but I'm not sure.
Sold for $475,000. Up next, we have lot number 309, the companion piece, the Ronin suit.
Oh, shit.
What?
How did they get that?
Yeah. Scavenged. Someone's going to steal those artifacts, aren't they?
Well, she's got to get the suit, doesn't she?
Get the sword! Gone. I know you want to. Or is he going to just... Oh, he's just going to take it. I mean... Oh. Don't, like, press it by accident.
Oh, how crazy would it be if he hugged somebody and it just popped out? Oh, that happens all the time. It's a special feature of my suit. You know us rich people. Can't be too careful these days. Ooh.
Oh, there we go. No? What are you going to do?
Pick it up. Okay.
Hello. Does no one recognize her voice? No.
Well, we've established that she, takes down bell towers, so
Yes.
all of this makes sense now.
Yeah. No, she wants to be a hero.
I know.
Wait. Is she using a wine bottle?
Yeah.
It did not break? Ooh.
Some of those are pretty strong, I guess.
Uh-oh. Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
I thought she was going to kill him for a second. Behind you. I don't know. Okay.
I found it.
Oh. Hey! The watch. Get the watch.
She's going after the dog?
Please tell me the dog has the watch. Because, he seems to be the only one who knows anything right now. Oh, doggy? No? Whoa.
I forgot in the opening sequence they showed that she studied gymnastics.
Gymnastics, yeah. Oh, that's right. I remember Eric Voss was talking about that Russian gang, right? The
Right.
tracksuit.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go, bro.
A ninja saved a dog.
Whoa, it's amazing. Terrorized organized crime in New York and elsewhere.
So much PTSD.
Food. You want food? Of course. Oh. You want some pizza? Okay. All right, I've got to figure out what's up with Ramon.
What are you gonna do?
Do not destroy this apartment.
Right. That's the dog you just met. That's the first thing
Good luck with that.
Say goodbye to all your shoes.
She's good at jumping.
Yeah.
It's very lithe.
The watch was left behind, right?
Yeah. Well, she clearly doesn't have it,
presumably.
and the dog didn't pick it up. But what is important about the watch?
Maybe it gives access to some facility.
Monogrammed butterscotch.
Hey, it's gangsta.
It's Armand. Oh my God. Did Jack do it?
Kane, have your dry cleaning on our...
Oh my God. Oh my God. No. Don't let her see you. That looks like a stab though, doesn't it? Or like a knife, like a sword.
Well, I mean,
that's the connection.
Homie did take the
right?
The Ronin sword.
Uh-oh.
Where do you think you're going?
Oh, this is where they're going to meet up, isn't it?
We got you now, bro.
Bro. I want to see her do like a head kick. No. Okay.
Run? How about run?
Yeah, just okay. That works. Lock the door. Lock. Okay. Do you know how to hotwire a car?
Oh, good.
Those are important skills. Oh no. Oh yeah. The real McCoy is here.
Are you having a hard time seeing the action?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, I can't be the only one who's having a difficult time here.
I'm sure it's very cool.
Come on!
You're a Hawkeye.
And who the hell are you?
Oh, there we go. The end.
What? Oh, wow. Okay. That was...
I knew it. I knew that was going to happen. It follows the arc of the story, right? That makes sense. Where it's just like, okay, so we learn about Kate Bishop first, right? And like her backstory, we find out how important Hawkeye is to her and, that he's kind of her hero.
Well, the impact that he had on her life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He kind of like changed the direction of her life, right? And then, we're just kind of following her a lot throughout the episode and with a little bit of Hawkeye and his family interspersed and like setting up the action. And I knew that as soon as they meet, that was going to be the end of the episode. It's just going to be boop, done.
I mean, that's a good cliffhanger.
Yeah, exactly. Because now we want to know. Now we're like, okay, what's going to happen next?
Right.
Because he was totally going to punch her face until he saw she was a lady. And then he was like, oh, God damn it, no.
I really like the premise of the show a lot. I like Haley Steinfeld.
I really like the setup. I'm enjoying the characters. I'm enjoying the introduction to Kate Bishop. Obviously, it's the first episode, so it's going to be a lot of exposition. I'm excited to see where it goes next, especially now that we have Hawkeye and Kate Bishop finally meeting. I like the pairing, and so I think we're going to get like a lot of fun, awkward humor and just kind of sleuthing around and finding out stuff. Yeah.
Of all the Marvel things we've watched so far, I don't feel like we've spent too much time with younger characters. And so the setup, the premise of the show is super, super exciting because, for kids who've been watching like grown-ups battle each other on the silver screen or even on the Disney Plus shows, like we finally finally have a younger person that we're following. It seems like Disney's going out of its way to establish that she's not like a girly girl, like the fact that she's wearing that suit,
yes,
as opposed to a dress, or anything like that. And I don't mind that so much. It's a character thing. She's more of a tomboy. That's pretty well established in the show between the martial arts, the gymnastics, and all that stuff, and her climbing and whatever. I don't know how much of this is in the zeitgeist of conversation anymore, but they did a good job of crushing the Bechdel test, because there was instances of a woman talking to a woman, and they weren't necessarily talking about a guy. They were just talking to each other about stuff. The show is going out of its way to tick off those boxes, and I think it's cool that they're aiming for some form of inclusivity and progressiveness here while continuing to tell an entertaining story. Because one of the worst things that could possibly happen is you tick off these boxes of virtue signaling, that's the easiest way to phrase it, and what you get is like this sort of unenjoyable thing. I won't mention what I'm talking about, but like I am finding the show enjoyable. Like there are moments where I'm like, the vibe of it I'm enjoying more than anything else.
Yeah, it's kind of like goofy and fun, and it's the holidays. I like that it's the holidays. And it's kind of sweet.
Jeremy Renner's a big plus for me, just to be able to watch him again and see what he's going through. Kind of like how Falcon and the Winter Soldier explored these issues with social injustices, which I was not expecting. I didn't know that was coming. We're getting to see PTSD, at least as far as the Avengers saga goes for him.
Sure.
We're getting to see the PTSD that he experienced. And I do really enjoy that. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and even like the side effects of that lifestyle, like he's older and he's got a hearing aid now.
And that's not something I was expecting, to be totally honest, because coming into the show, I was expecting sort of a Die Hard / Home Alone thing, right? And here we're getting something a little bit deeper. Not too much. It's like, it's not overbearing. It's just enough to let you know this is a character thing and it's something he goes through and it makes you feel for him.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually pretty cool. There were some stilted moments in the acting that just kind of stood out to me as like awkward.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the writing or the acting, because like I really like Vera Farmiga as well, but as you pointed out, like some of those scenes between her and her mother, it was just kind of like, do real people talk like that? Or is it just because they're like super posh?
Even the scene with her as a little girl, there was like this effort to make it feel like, oh, we're, a mom and daughter, but it felt like two actors, you know what I mean?
Sure.
I just tried to like ignore it and go, okay, well, the whole tone of this, while, Hawkeye is kind of like Bruce Willis in Die Hard, so to speak, in terms of him as a person, with his history and whatnot and coming into the situation, there's still a sort of pseudo Home Alone feel to the whole thing in terms of the tone and the vibe.
Right.
Because she's a kid, and so you sort of have to let it have that. With that in mind, you have to make like concessions, like, okay, it's like, sometimes the acting's a little funny in movies like that because it's geared towards kids.
Right. And also, there's some exposition to be had in this first episode, like that line you pointed out, like, oh, I remember when you got your first black belt at 15. And I'm like,
right. I mean, it's just a little bit weird. Like, I remember when you got your black belt at 15 years old, which is going to make sense for the rest of the show now when you do epic things.
Yeah.
In case the audience forgot, I should say this again. It's just, we had a whole opening credits that showed us what we needed to see about this girl. We got her backstory.
Yeah, that opening credits scene was really, really cool because, like, okay, so these are her skills. She's really great at archery, does gymnastics, she kills it in martial arts. Like, she's the real deal. She's the whole package,
I was more impressed with the musical than I was with the fight scenes. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The way people were moving in the musical, acrobatic, their agility and whatnot, I was like, okay, I can actually see the musical, when they cut to it and they move really well. And when they were doing the fight scenes and whatnot, it was just a little bit clunky sometimes. We're like, I can't really quite make out what's happening. The movement feels a little bit slow sometimes. I don't feel as immersed in the action. Maybe I'm not supposed to. Maybe it's supposed to be kind of goofy. I was just sort of like, okay, at a certain point, I have to just accept that that's how the fight scenes are, if that's how it's going to be in the show.
Well, also, I just want to let the audience know that we're watching like an early screener of this, so there is like a giant watermark in the middle of the screen, which I'm not sure if that hindered our ability to be able to see the action, because if you watched it and you guys are going, wait, but I was able to see the full action,
I don't think that impedes my ability to assess what's happening too much, but that is a possibility. Even when I could see what was going on, it just felt like there was a bit of slowness to the whole thing, and I was like, okay, well, I guess this is how how it is. When you're watching a movie, you sort of assess the tone of what you're going to be encountering over the course of the show. Like the scene between the mom and the daughter was a little bit clunky. I go, okay, my brain now is sort of going, that's what you can kind of expect in terms of the performances in the show.
Right.
And then with the fight scene, you sort of deal with the same thing. It's like, okay, I guess these are the sort of fight scenes I'm going to deal with over the course of the show, and you just sort of have to accept it. Otherwise, someone like me, I could get mad the entire time. So I have to like make these concessions on the fly, if that makes any sense. Like I think general people don't give a shit, but for me, I have to actively turn off certain critical parts of my brain because I like the premise a lot, and I like the main characters, I should say. Well, Haley Steinfeld and of course Hawkeye. Like I'm very excited for the dynamic between them. We've established the parameters of what's going on around them, who they're dealing with emotionally, and where they rank in society and whatnot. Like I really am digging these small moments of even like the moment when the Chinese guy tried to give Hawkeye like a free meal, and it was just sort of this awkward thing. He doesn't know what to do with that. While I completely disagree with Hawkeye, I would love a free meal any day. I like that scene. I like that moment.
And also, when he was at the show, right? It's establishing that he's going through a lot, and it totally makes sense. Like his daughter said, he lost his best friend. To the rest of the world, they're just Avengers and they're heroes and they saved the world. But to him, like these were people that he really knew. These were things that actually happened and that he lived through. It's understandable that it's traumatic for him, and I love the way that they're portraying that. I really like Jeremy Renner, and he's doing a fantastic job of just kind of showing all of that backstory while still trying to move on with his life and still trying to, connect with his children, which he hasn't really had a chance to do.
I like Haley Steinfeld. I think that her performance as this character is, I mean, I've never watched her outside of this, if I'm being completely honest, but I like what she's doing so far. I can't say the same about some of the supporting characters in the show, like the dad, the old guy, who I guess was the one that got killed. Armand. I was a little bit relieved that he got killed, I'm not going to lie, because I just wasn't liking his performance. I was like, if I got to deal with this guy for 5 more episodes, I'm going to be sad.
I was just kind of wondering, like, okay, is he like this over the top in a way, or like this dramatic because that's the character?
Because he's a highfalutin
Or is it because
person?
Of the accent as well? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I didn't even care about his accent. There's one thing when it's an air of
self-importance.
Yeah, an air, exactly. It's one thing when it's an air of self-importance and arrogance, but it's another thing entirely when it's just that, whatever that was. I was like, okay, guy, like tone it down a notch.
You gotta go.
Yeah, I'm like, am I being too critical? That's the question I'm asking in my head, and I shouldn't be asking that when I'm watching this show. I should just be immersed in it, right?
Well, he's definitely super fun as a bad guy. Do you know what I mean? Like as soon as he comes on there, with that air of self-importance, and
I guess so.
Like I immediately was like, I don't like you.
Yeah,
when he
I guess that's the desired effect.
Yeah, when he said that stuff like right to her face about her mother, like, oh, is she a catch? I would have been like, yo, that's my mom you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like you don't get to say that about my mom and to my face. Like, what do you want, a punch?
Right, but I think that, no, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And like the feelings, I understand the feelings we're supposed to have. I've encountered people like that in real life, and I'm not saying everybody's the same, who is arrogant, self-important, highfalutin. I'm not saying they're all the same, but I'm saying in my encounters, it has never been that piratey. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm looking for a word that is like, it's too much. There's something that was too much about it for me personally. But I know I'm the nitpicky asshole over here. I'm sorry. It was just too much for me. That was too much. I was glad he was dead. And I was just like, God, guy, go away. Because this happened with Vera Farmiga as well, I'm like, okay, maybe the consistent thing here is it's all in the same show. So you start to look at the director or the writer. Like,
sure.
As a potential reason for these things. Like, could you do more? Could you make it like more? Not so subtle. Like, do more acting.
Well, I was wondering as well when you were picking up on the relationship between Kate Bishop and her mom, right? Like just in terms of the acting. I was wondering if maybe it's not so much the acting, but they're trying to make a point that their relationship doesn't really feel natural, because when juxtaposed with the relationship she had with her father, who was in it really briefly, but it was clear that he was kind of the more favored parent or the one that got along with her better or
Achara,
something.
you are such a lovely, naive optimist, because I don't agree with that statement at all. I mean, I agree with the idea in theory of, well, she really connected with her dad and she doesn't really connect with her mom, but it didn't feel like that was the target in the scene. Do you know what I mean? when they showed the Ronin sword, the target is like us getting excited. When they showed the costume, the target is she's going to get that costume.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The target of the show is Hawkeye and Haley Steinfeld got to meet up.
Yeah.
There was no target that was illustrated to me as the audience of we need to establish that the mom and daughter have an awkward relationship. It seemed like they got along just fucking fine. The question that was burning in my mind was, where the hell was she when New York was falling apart in 2012?
Yeah, wouldn't the first thing you would do run and find your daughter? And so, on that note, I feel like maybe her mom was doing some like weird something in the background.
Taking a shit.
She's taking a dump.
What is that noise?
I totally relate to that though, because the one time, the first earthquake I properly experienced in LA, I was sitting on the toilet, the earth started to shake, and I was like, well, I guess this is how I go. This is it.
If I was constipated before, I'm not anymore. Thank you, Jesus. Things are moving along.
No, but I do think as soon as that happened and no one came, I was like, something nefarious is going on.
Well, yeah,
or maybe her mom was busy murdering the dad.
Yeah, something does seem off and suspect with the mom, but there's not enough there for me to make an assessment. I mean, the fact that she was having that weird argument with the older guy.
Yeah, something was up.
I mean, it might turn out that the old guy was actually trying to help out Haley Steinfeld and let her know, something is up. Like, you're taking it as a morally offensive thing. Like, how dare you talk about my mom? But maybe he's trying to go, your mom is suspect, yo.
Yeah, like, I don't like her for reasons that are justifiable that you don't know yet.
There's an imposter among us.
Yeah, I don't like his son either. The moment he stepped on the scene with the rose, I was like,
he just seems a little bit
too much.
He seems a little bit mustache twisty.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I think that's the point, isn't it? Through her eyes, she already doesn't like him because he's that weirdo that's dating her mom, and now they're getting married, and she's just like, ew, you're gross. We're seeing it through her eyes, but also as an audience, we're like, yeah, I don't trust you. And I'm pretty sure he killed the dad.
I know he killed the dad. I was just hoping that he wasn't going to be a bad guy because it was so obvious. It was such an obvious tell. If this show was Poker Player, they would lose.
It's like, I got cards and they're good.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's all very strong tells. Like, you know exactly who you already know that dude that her mom is marrying potentially is awful. And the fact that the dad is dead now, I mean, maybe that's a misdirect and maybe it's a red herring. Like, you're supposed to think, well, he took the sword. Surely,
yes,
he killed the dad.
Yes.
And maybe maybe it turns out he didn't kill the dad. And it just seems like that because you showed us the sword. Chekhov's gun would suggest he stabbed the dude in the back.
Exactly.
What's the other thing called? There's a scientific phrase or term.
Schrodinger's cat. No. I don't know. I'm just throwing out random
Occam's
terms.
razor is the phrase I was looking for. Occam's razor. The simplest explanation would be this potential stepfather, Jack, killed his father.
Armand. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like they weren't really getting along all that well.
No, they weren't.
And he's like, I'll inherit the money at some point, right?
Exactly. I mean, that's all in the writing, right? It's all telling us like, oh, see, he wants an inheritance. Like, maybe he's not a great guy, and this, that, and the other. Oh, whoa, whoopsie, Dad died.
So I sort of, like I said earlier in this conversation, I sort of have to go, let me just turn off my critical brain because I have to assume that maybe this is being targeted at kids as well and not just like grown-ups.
Sure.
And so things have to be executed in such a way that kids won't completely be lost and bored. You have to make the acting a little bit bigger, perhaps. I haven't watched Home Alone in like 20 years, but I'm sure if I go back and watch it, I'm going to be like, whoa, that's Joe Pesci. Like, that's a lot. But it's a kid's movie, and so, you have to make concessions. And so here, I'm sort of doing the same thing. The one thing I don't forgive, though, I'll watch it again as a non-screener, just the fight scene specifically. The one thing I'm not forgiving is that action where I'm like, okay, while I'm going to be okay and watch the show, because it's like, it's not a kung fu movie, so it's fine. I don't forgive it, though. I let it go, but I don't forgive it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. And I guess there is an expectation with it being a Marvel project because we know that they can execute really great action and they have done before, that the expectation is higher. Like we want those really cool action set pieces. But Kate Bishop did pull off some cool moves. There was that one where she like was on the thing, the pole and then it fell down and then she managed to take down the guy as well.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. We were both like, oh wow, that was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, so like there were some cool moves, but overall I would have loved to have been able to see the action better. But maybe the point was that it was supposed to feel kind of chaotic.
I know that this is like something that people don't care about necessarily because it's a show, it's a movie, but you can study martial arts, you can study gymnastics, but unless you have studied parkour, you're not going to just throw parkour into the middle of a scene. They established her climbing, and that sort of gives you a sense of, oh, maybe she studied parkour. That's at least what I'm telling myself when I see that. The mom's going, you got a black belt at 15. It's like, that's supposed to help me? For me, the guy who's experienced with all that stuff, like that's supposed to justify to me that she can like parkour over wine cellars and shit.
You're not the regular guy, though.
I know, but like anyone who has taken a beginner martial arts class will know you don't study any of that in a martial arts class. You get about as much parkour out of a martial arts class as you do out of a 6-hour women's self-defense program. You're not going to get any of that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You're not getting that kind of skill. They've well established in the show that she's her first scene as an older teenager. You know, she's climbing the thing, and so I assume a certain degree of that kind of athleticism, and I guess it works out. But the thing that throws me a little bit is that you've got these big Armenian guys, presumably Armenian.
I thought they're Russian.
Or Russian, whatever they are, Russian or Armenian. You get these big dudes, and they got her held up, and they're punching her in the stomach.
Yeah.
Right? She is a small lady. If they establish in the opening scene that she's like weightlifting and shit too, you got me. All right? We're good.
She knows martial arts. She can take a hit.
That's not how that works. She's a small lady. The thing about it, okay.
She's fairly tall.
No, but she's small compared to them.
Oh, yeah, they're big.
Those are street thugs. Do you remember the scene in Snatch when Boxer went up against Mickey, who was a bare knuckle fighter, Brad Pitt, right? Mm-hmm. Dude just knocked him out. And it's like, what did you expect? You had an underground or a fighter who fights with gloves versus a bare knuckle fighter. Two completely different things. Yeah. Right? And so what you have here is a martial arts girl who's won tournaments. Presumably in tournaments, you're wearing gear, sparring outfits and whatnot.
There's rules.
And you got these dudes who do nothing but fuck up other people on the streets. And dude's just like fucking hitting her in the stomach, and she's like, ugh, let me roll. I'm like, what? Okay, it's a movie. Fine. It's just kind of hilarious to me. That's all. I just wanted to point out the kind of goofiness of that to me.
Yeah. I mean, we're supposed to buy into the fact that she's going to be a superhero. That's just par for the course. Superheroes can take hits.
Yes. She hasn't had any like X serum injected into her veins yet or anything like.
Hey, Hawkeye didn't.
That's a little different. You're not looking at Hawkeye taking beatings and getting up and doing a backflip. Like,
yeah, to be fair,
he's dodging stuff.
He's like, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little different. And so it's just interesting. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and bell icon, all notifications, and vote this up to let YouTube know you enjoyed what you watched. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.